5-minute podcast, episode 4, I think. Well, hi everyone. I'm in my truck here, actually, at the St. Joe's Catholic Church, because it's my polling station. So this is my really quick commercial before I get started here to remind everybody that today's the final day to vote in Grand Prairie's by-election. We're voting for one replacement councillor. And today's the day. There were some advanced polling stations, but today's the day till 8. I think you have a chance to vote. So get out, bring your piece of ID, driver's license, tax assessment. There's a few different ways. If you don't know, only city residents can do it. If you don't know if you're a city resident, phone the city maybe just drop by. If you think you might be, drop by what you think is your closest polling station and bring some ID and give it a try. That's it. Okay, today's topic is, I think I called it consistency is the key to success. This one is so simple and so important that I wanted to kind of hit it early. When I first started this, I talked about just going for it. You know, if you had something that was always on your heart and your mind, and there were pathetic barriers keeping you from doing it, I just said, just go for it, just do it. Like the podcast, like a 5-minute podcast. And just going for it really only works if you have the capacity to be consistent with it, because consistency is the key to success in virtually everything you do. In relationships, in business, in health, in wealth, in every single behavior that you want to see success in. And you hear it all the time. There's all these phrases that are popular, like death by 1,000 cuts. This is how we end up with something that is seemingly tragic happen, and we look back at it and we say, actually, it was kind of a result of a culmination of a buildup of 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 100 kind of inconvenient things. Rome wasn't built in a day. This is another expression we use to talk about the reality that great things are built over time with consistent behavior. How do you eat an elephant? I'm sure you guys have heard this one before. How do you eat an elephant? What's the answer? Does anybody know? One bite at a time. Again, these expressions come from this profound understanding that people arrive at after realizing, man, I did something great through many consistent small behaviors. And so whether those are disciplines or whether those are maintenance, they probably were successful because they were consistent. You talk to anybody who's had success at the gym, working out, they go consistently. Talk to anybody who's had success in sales, they've got a system and a regime and a time, weekly time blocking. It's all behaviors that are consistent. And bad habits get formed exactly the same way. It's remarkable that we forget that, when we land at a place where we have a bad habit or an addiction, that didn't come overnight either. We did something, and then we did it repeatedly, and then suddenly we didn't know how to free ourselves from it. Well, the same is true in the other direction. The significant difference is that one is intentional, and one sort of, sneaks up on you and it happens to you. Oops, I think I just tried to connect my AirPods. So consistency. And people often don't do the thing that I talked about in the first episode, where they pursue this dream because they know either instinctively or they've told somebody to keep them accountable, that somebody's going to keep them accountable to this thing that they're doing. Someone's going to say, hey, how's this? Oh, Derek, how's this podcast going? How's this 5-minute podcast going? And then I'm going to say, oh, yeah, no, it worked out for a bit. And then I got busy, and then it got off track. And then something came up, and then I got sick, and then it's hard to restart. And so the key to consistency is is recognizing that the consistent behavior in itself may face a blip, and you may have to restart over the consistency, and you may have to restart it. The thing that got me thinking about this is this other realization. I considered making this the title of this podcast, is that everything that you're proud of, you worked on. You worked on. Think about that for a second. The things that you're proud of, you worked on. Now, some people might say, well, no, I'm proud of my kids. I'm so proud of my kids. Yeah, well, what are you proud of your kids for? Well, because they faced adversity, or they finished university and they got a degree, or they had a hard time through high school and they found their confidence, whatever. Even then, the thing that you're proud of is the work that they did. So because satisfaction in life often comes through effort, it's important to recognize that working on something, oh, and I got a low battery. Working on something should not discourage you. You shouldn't say, well, I don't, it's a job. I want to work. I don't want the solution to my success to be more work. Well, work is not a burden. Work should be a joy and a satisfaction, and its behavior will produce the goal that you expect to produce. So there it is. Everything that you're proud of, you worked on. Consistency is the key to success. And so I just want to see a little bit of feedback in the comments today. What are your thoughts on this idea that success comes through consistent behavior, repetitive, consistent behavior, and that everything that you are proud of, you worked on? Let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Go vote. I know everyone's tired of politics and voting. We just voted on a leadership race. Now we're voting municipally. In the spring, we have a provincial election. Be consistent in that as well. That's it. I think I'm under 5 minutes. So for all the haters out there that said I couldn't do it, I could prove you right by actually staying on here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to shut her down, wrap her up, and encourage you to pick up. The other thing I wanted to say, watch, I'm going to totally screw this up now. I'll be over 5 minutes. Is that pick something that is truly attainable. People aren't consistent on things because they pick things that are hard to be consistent at. If you want to do 10 push-ups a day, do 10 push-ups a day. Don't call it pathetic. Know that it's something that you can do consistently, even though you might face... Oh, there's the bells. Maybe that's the bells for me to finish. Even though the thing that you've committed to do might get stopped or delayed because of a challenge, make it accessible, make it attainable. Attainable, repeatable, consistent behavior. You can do it. Have an awesome week. We'll see you next week. 5 Minute Podcast out.